Hey everyone, this is Laura Godenik. I'm an astrologer and a therapist, and I'm here to bring you the astrology for the weeks of October 20th through November 2nd, 2025. And I do want to acknowledge that I missed last week. I should have recorded this video last week and I totally spaced on the time or the date. So, just a brief overview of what happened last week. We had Venus move into Libra, bringing sweetness and peace to our relationships and more of an ease in experiencing beauty and creating art and collaborating with other people. We had Venus oppose Neptune, which may have brought a sense of loss or disappointment in relationships. But then she pretty much immediately made a trine to both Pluto and Uranus, which could have brought some transformation and change to relationships or to how we were perceiving a relational situation. It could have helped to mitigate or reframe a situation that could have felt disappointing or like a loss. We also had the Sun in Libra make a square to Jupiter, which could have brought some good luck or a sense of peace and harmony and generosity. So it's kind of a little overview of what happened last week. So this week, starting today on Monday, the 20th of October, we have Mercury making a conjunction with Mars in the sign of Scorpio. Mercury is the mind, communication, how we think. Mars is activation, energy, doing things, and it can be very activating. So Mercury coming together with Mars can be very activating to the mind, like maybe overthinking, thinking too much, maybe having some anxiety, like buzzing thoughts. For people who have Virgo or Gemini rising, this could feel activating to the nervous system, to your body. So it's a really good time to do any sort of grounding exercises or mindfulness, anything to calm yourself down, avoiding things like caffeine later in the day, just kind of doing things to keep yourself grounded. It could also be a transit that motivates us to figure something out or get to the bottom of something. It could have us obsessing over things or over something or someone. It could also have us, it could also create the impetus to tell someone something that we had been holding back or we wouldn't have had the courage to otherwise. Mars is a planet of courage and bravery, and it's very strong in the sign of Scorpio, a sign about deep feelings. So this could have been also a time where you had the courage to say something that with regards to how you've been feeling potentially about someone or something. So it is kind of like a busyness feeling. So once again, you might feel like you're needing to get a lot done, doing this and that. And so you can use it to do that, to get a lot of things done that you might have been avoiding or that you might have been that you might not have had motivation to do, but also be mindful of that activation piece. Wednesday, the 22nd, the sun heads into Scorpio, where Mercury and Mars are, highlighting even more so this part of our charts, whatever house that is for you. We also have Neptune retrograding back into the sign of Pisces for the next couple months. Maybe, I think it's only about maybe like 5 months or so. So we are finishing something up in the sign of Pisces over the next several months as Neptune and the planet Saturn are back in the sign of Pisces. Thursday, the 23rd, we have Jupiter in Cancer making a square to Chiron in Aries. This could have us healing something, potentially with regards to family. Jupiter in Cancer is very nourishing and forgiving. Next, we have on Friday, the 24th, the Sun in Scorpio making a square to Pluto in Aquarius. So this might give us the impetus to change something, maybe a bad habit or something that's been deeply rooted in our psyche, or maybe a pattern that we are in general, in relationships with others or in our personal life. This could be a moment of kind of like, I don't really want to do that anymore. I don't want to behave that way anymore. That doesn't really reflect me or my values. Pluto also always has us digging deeper and peeling back the layers to understand something, understand the root of something, and ultimately to transform it. Might have us also more introspective. We have Mercury in Scorpio trining Jupiter in Cancer on the same day. Mercury, once again, representing conversations, communications of the mind. Jupiter in Cancer is very healing, abundant, optimistic. So this could feel like having forgiving conversations, speaking with the heart and with emotion to others, maybe some big picture thinking, some optimistic thinking of what's possible, what can be done. And then on Saturday the 25th, Mercury also makes a square to Saturn in Pisces. So we're heading into this series of what's called grand water trines. So we have Jupiter in Cancer, Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, and then Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. These are all water signs, and we have planets in all three of the water signs. And so they're making what's called a grand trine, meaning they're making like a big triangle in the sky. And water is all about healing. It's all about emotion. It's all about feeling into the depths, and maybe doing some grief work, maybe crying a lot. There's a water helps us move things through and process through the feeling sense, I could say. So Mercury making this trine to Saturn could have us thinking about or talking about boundaries in conversations with others, recognizing limits, recognizing a need for structure of some sort, or kind of like structure maybe for ourselves or in a particular situation, like what am I available for? What can I realistically give? Then on Wednesday the 29th, Mercury makes a trine to Neptune, which speaks about forgiveness, compassion, grief, a lot of feeling, once again. And then Mercury immediately heads into the sign of Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. This has us being a little bit more blunt in conversations. It's a very different feel compared to Mercury in Scorpio. Much more fiery, maybe a little less sensitive, not as secretive or internal, much more external. We have Mars and Scorpio making a trine to Saturn on the same day. So Wednesday the 29th, there's a lot going on. We have 4 aspects. Mercury trine Neptune, then heading into Sagittarius. We have Mars trine Saturn, which brings structure and the ability to get things done, to be productive, to work diligently. And then we also have Mercury opposing Uranus, which can bring a little bit of a buzz. This is later on in the day, so the mood of the day really changes later. It can bring up surprises in conversations, change of mind, like changing your perspective on something, creative new ideas. Could have some anxiety or kind of like a spinning mind. So once again, that calming element can be really useful, doing any sort of like grounding or regulating, calming of the nervous system. Spending time in nature, doing yoga, maybe some breath work or relaxing breathing. Thursday the 30th, Mercury, so this is quite a Mercury week, the second week, Mercury in Sagittarius sextiles Pluto, which has us deeply introspective, maybe having some deeper insights as well into ourselves or into a particular situation. And then on Sunday, November 2nd, we have Venus in Libra making a square to Jupiter in Cancer. These are the 2 benefics coming together in astrology, the planets that bring good fortune, good things, joy. So this is a great day for celebration, healing. Once again, that theme comes up in relationships, art, ease, beauty, experiencing beauty, being creative, being generous. It's a pretty fortuitous, lucky day. And it should feel very positive and optimistic and abundant, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I would recommend journaling on this day and really kind of keeping track of the insights you have on this day and the things you're grateful for. And then you can kind of use that later on, excuse me, when on days where you're feeling a little bit more low, a little bit more down, these insights you can kind of like bring the energy from this day back on those days that are a little bit more drab or sad. So yeah, Venus square Jupiter reminds us of the abundance we have, reminds us of the sweetness we have in our lives, and reminds us to be grateful for those things and for all the things that are good. So that is the astrology for the next 2 weeks. Oh, I totally forgot to mention we have a new moon on Tuesday the 21st. So coming up, like tomorrow, we have a new moon in Libra. New moons are all about new beginnings, starting something new. This is towards the later degrees of Libra. So it is kind of like a new moon about wrapping something up or ending something or moving on. And so it might be a little bit of a sleepier new moon a month ahead. And yeah, maybe finishing something up in your Libra house, whatever house that is for you, maybe within the realm of relationships or love or art or collaborations. Maybe you're starting something with, someone you've been friends with for a long time, a new art project, a new collaborative project. So all sorts of possibilities there. But that is the astrology for the next couple of weeks. Hope this was useful. Please like, subscribe, comment. Trying to get this channel to grow. I'm also available for consultations, so please reach out if that interests you. Otherwise, I will be back in a couple of weeks for the next astrology update, and I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks. Take care.